Good morning and happy 2026, everybody. Welcome back to Good Morning Hospitality. And this is our first episode of 2026. And if you are a longtime listener, you know that our first episode of every year is a predictions episode of what's going to come in the next 12 months. If you know the show well, you also know in December, we revisit these predictions to see what we hit and what we missed. So if you're new, check out our last episode that happened December 21st. And of course, like always, we can't wait to let you know what we're seeing in our crystal ball. So let's begin. Good morning, you guys.
Good morning. Nice glasses, Jamie. Yeah. Is it sunny where you are?
Oh, it's so sunny down here in Key West.
Blinded by the crystal ball this morning.
Yeah. The future's too bright. He had to put on his sunglasses.
Well, happy 2026.
Yes. How was your guys' holidays? How was the break? We haven't seen each other since last year, so no pun intended. But yeah, exciting times. How was Christmas? How was the New Year's?
It was good. I was bopping around. It was so interesting now that I don't have to fly up here for 2 whole weeks or 3 weeks. I was able to come back to my house during all the things, which was really nice, and bop around the Northeast.
I love it. It was a good time with fam. Oh, we lost you. We lost your mic.
Sorry, my mic.
There it goes.
No, sorry, my skipped all of a sudden. So yeah, time with family, time with friends in Saratoga, New York. So just adjusting to how cold it is constantly.
Of course. Yep. The life that you left behind, which Jamie is now living this week. So
yeah.
Yeah. I think it was a month ago, Rafat have skipped did a LinkedIn post where he said he randomly booked a trip for him and his kids to go during the holidays. And I was like, I'm watching my kids for 5 days after New Year's, and went on and found $100 round trip flights to Miami. And so now I'm down here with the 2 kids for 5 days. So yeah, awesome, quick little trip. And thanks for Rafat for the inspiration.
I was going to say, must have been inspired.
I was. Book the trip, think about the details later.
Yeah, 100%.
Was it you guys done a lot of Jamie?
What?
Was it your platinum run? Be honest.
No, it was just cheap flights. It was flying on the right day, flying on New Year's Day, and then coming back on a Tuesday. So we'll head back tomorrow and staying at the beautiful Banyan Resort. One of my dad's friends runs this hotel, and it's awesome.
That's sick.
Yeah,
that is sick. Well, yeah. Speaking of Rafat, the cool perks of joining Skift is that I got 2 weeks off, basically from December 24th to January 5th, which is today. So yeah, that was a weird shift change. But I was like, ooh, I kind of like this. I never had 2 weeks off in a row from holidays when I was running HFM by myself. So yeah, it was a nice shift. But Michael, you and the boys do anything fun? You and the fam?
Well, same old. We did some fishing, caught some big old bass. Had a great time with the kids over Christmas, as you can imagine, with the 6-year-old and a 2-year-old. Lots of magic happening. My son and I came up with and I vibe coded children's educational games during the holidays, which is wild because anyone who knows me, I'm like the most tech averse person ever.
Yeah.
And 4, 5, 6 hours of having my son play a game, give feedback, making edits. It was really cool. It's crazy to see how capable technology is.
It's evolving, and as you're going to hear on today's episode, we're probably going to get into some of that today. So we're excited. As I said in the intro, this is our first episode back, and we always begin the year with predictions. So we pull out our crystal balls. It's also perfect. So if you are a fan of Skift, if you're a Skift Pro subscriber or just have read any of the content, you'll know that we also have our Skift Megatrends and our Megatrends conference in New York and London, where a lot of these predictions that not from us today, but a lot of the team, the editorial team, research teams get to put together as well. So check that out. Just a little shameless plug. But it is the perfect timing, right? They're doing their mega trends. We're doing our predictions. So if you missed last year's revisit, December 21st, I believe is what we did. Go check out what we hit and what we missed. It was a good run, but not a great run, I guess. We had a couple half points here.
Yeah, I think I had a half point total, or maybe it was a negative half point. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you ended with you went up to 1 and then we ended with a half. But yeah,
well, one was a big miss. But
yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah. All good. For this year, we tried to. Well, I think Jamie is going to be the only one that really tried to create predictions that are actually trackable. The rest of us are really trying to figure out how we can improve our thesis or our predictions at the end of the year. But Jamie, I'm excited to hear yours. But before we kick off with you, Jamie, we're going to actually go ladies first this year. So Brandy Canali. Welcome to the predictions episode, and we're excited to see what your crystal ball has in store.
Yes, I am the only member that chose to avoid AI, so I figured that we'll cover that enough.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to start with my pessimistic view. I think that FIFA, we've been talking about the World Cup coming, is going to be like the data centers of this year, where like if you remove that one item, not much is happening. And I think areas that are outside of the cities that are holding events are going to probably see hits to revenue and occupancy across the board. I hope I'm wrong, but it's just kind of the feeling that I have. So at the end of the year, that's actually data we can we can look at. So not the brightest start to the year, but I think we can all feel like the way that people are spending money is changing. The way people are traveling is kind of stalling a little bit. So we'll see. But we do have FIFA. So if you're in those towns, like you have the World Cup, like good for you.
Cash out while you can.
Yeah, cash out while you can.
The Scottish, right, Jamie?
If you got the Scots, Miami and Boston, you're feeling good.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Make sure you have your revenue managers like dialed in to those dates. And then, so my second one is about ultra luxury. And I think that we're going to continue to see like even more crazier, more extravagant things happening in the luxury side, like the ultra luxury side of travel. One thing that popped up, I know we've maybe talked about it before, but the Belmont trains that look, I would, if anyone wants to give me a free ticket on a Belmont train, I will do almost anything. But there's one suite that runs $31,000 per night, and it has a 24-hour butler, and that's on the route from Paris to Venice. And so like that's just an example of, how exclusivity isn't just being able to buy something anymore. It's like, what kind of services that I can get that nobody else can get. And like, that's what makes it luxurious. And it's not quite as gaudy as like, I mean, I'm sure people will still find ways to spend money in a tacky fashion, but it's like, what access can I have to something that no one else can have? So I think it'll be interesting to track what wild things I can't afford pop up during the year.
Some might say $31,000 for a night is gaudy, but I don't know.
You just can't see it. I mean, maybe, but it's not tacky. It's not tacky.
It's not tacky. It would be a great experience. I get fed those and would love to do it, but I didn't realize they were that expensive.
I mean, on the more affordable end, some of them are like $3,000 a night. So I mean, manageable. Maybe. Accessible luxury, but they look so cool. And now, because I was looking at it for like this morning, now like my Instagram is literally just all videos of those trains.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you want to eat top ramen for a month, you can get the accessible version. But outside of that, good luck.
Become an influencer, and they'll invite you on it. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Easy.
That's it.
So easy. get 1 million followers and you'll get a free
Follow
ticket.
my 5-step guide.
Yeah. But as I was thinking about these, it's like both of my trends. Now like the K-shaped economy has been thrown around so much, but I thought these are both kind of like examples of how that is really playing out in our industry.
Yeah, before we move on to Jamie's non-AI prediction, I actually want to ask you the question: what inspired the predictions? Like, what did you see that was like, hey, I actually think this is going to like tie into? Yeah.
Sure. Well, I think for the first one, it was just seeing the economic reports about how if you removed any activity around data center building, like, and how scary that is. But just that not much, like, you can't always trust the picture that's being told, like, on the surface, and you have to dig in to those numbers. And so I kind of view, when the Super Bowl comes to your city, the Super Bowl is kind of like that event where like or Taylor Swift, right? Those were these one-off huge events that really skew your data, but the World Cup is happening all over the continent. So there's going to be this kind of, inflation of revenue and occupancy. And that's obviously great for all those cities that it's happening in. But the majority of our industry is not in those areas. And I think that, we're seeing the trends that people are pulling back. So that's why I think the numbers at the end of the year are going to say something a bit more skewed. And then with the luxury travel, I got the Condé Nast Traveler Gold list for last year. Again, a list of things I can't afford. And and then I was seeing the Belmont trains because they were doing like Christmas stuff all over. And I was like, oh, this is just like the total opposite, where people are spending, a community college tuition on one night on a train, so.
100%. Well, we got a LinkedIn user. Unfortunately, it's not showing their profile, but they're saying, any thoughts on super seasonal beach markets anywhere, or specifically like Outer Banks of North Carolina?
Well, for mine, I would say that like this is following in that, like, unfortunately, Outer Banks don't have a huge stadium and aren't getting the boost from the World Cup. That's not to say there aren't other events that will boost it, but you're not going to see like the general data, I think, from the country as a whole or the industry as a whole might not be reflected, I don't think, in the year that you're going to see.
Yeah, agreed. Well, very good. Very good. All right, Jamie Lane, you're up.
Yeah. So if you build on Brandy's that and weakness abounds, this one doesn't. It makes things a little bit more pessimistic for the operators. So my prediction is really an opposite of a 2025 prediction I had, where we talked about supply decelerating. I think 2026 is going to be the year that supply starts to reaccelerate. So where we go from roughly 2% growth in supply this summer in 2025 to greater than 5% in 2026. And it is a really interesting environment for investors, because I do think interest rates are going to come down. I think we're going to have a new Fed chair in May. I think the actual economy is pretty weak right now. And if it weren't for tariffs, which are pushing inflation up, I think you would actually see some pretty meaningfully and weaker inflation prints. Service inflation is coming way down. And there's real weakness out there. And once that really starts to show up, I think the Fed's actually going to have to cut more to prop up the overall economy. And that's actually going to be a net benefit for the housing market. It's going to induce more demand coming into short-term rental investment. We're already seeing weakening home values. So lower home values, lower interest rates. I think that means more investment coming into short-term rentals on the asset side. And with that, if demand doesn't accelerate, that probably means weaker overall occupancy levels for the industry in 2026. And if anyone listened to our outlook at RDNA, and this was the big sort of theme from that, so probably not a huge surprise for anyone if you did sort of join in for that. So that's my prediction, and big one for 2026 is the reacceleration on the supply side.
So it's interesting because if we have this increase in supply, but for people that are savvy about the industry, we know that demand is like weakening for travelers to actually stay in those short-term rentals. So I would think that if anyone's looking at the market, they might say that they should get more long-term or commercial real estate investments rather than short-term rentals.
Yeah, I think what a lot of investors see, though, is that new beats old. And that if I'm going to come in, I can see what's doing well. I can position my new investment in one where I'm going to operate at the top 10, top 20%, get my occupancy, get my revenue, and where it hurts the existing operators, it hurts the existing owners that maybe haven't refreshed their property in a few years. Maybe they bought in 2021. Now they're starting to see weaker performance, weaker reviews. They're not doing the updates they need to keep their property sort of performing at the best. And those new investments can do well and support the sort of underwriting that they would do, all the while everyone else starts to underperform a bit.
Very interesting. I like it. I like it. Well, just a quick disclaimer before we move on. We have not discussed our predictions with each other before going live. So for any live viewers or people listening on the replay, we did not discuss these before. So we've all come prepared to have potentially a backup if we have any repetitive predictions. And then also we're going in the order of non-AI. So after my predictions, we're going to move into our AI prediction category where Michael and Jamie are going to lead the way. But with that being said, mine are they're kind of tied together. So I'm going to go point one, or prediction one, is the anti-AI effect. So this is something that we've talked about internally at Skift. This is something I've written about on our Mic Check newsletter, that as the barrier of entry with AI and content and media becomes lower, as AI gets better and more affordable and more effective across the board, we're going to see in-person experiences become very, very dominant in the industry, from entertainment to you name it, media, events, conferences, all the stuff. And that standard is going to be risen higher. It's something Rafit's talked about at Skift, and how they want to push our live events conference piece to be a significant portion of the company's revenue. But also before that was even talked about internally, it was something I got inspired by from the owner of UFC and WWE, which you would find to be a little interesting. But I was like, okay, the points that he made around this were super good. So I have the same feeling, and my kind of prediction two tied to that is, as the live in-person experience becomes more valued and more sought after, that means we're going to have hospitality brands focused around experiences first, rather than inventory of lodging, and then somehow provide lodging at the end of the day. So the product in hospitality right now is lodging. So the hotels, the short-term rentals, the restaurant, the building, right? But I think we're going to have companies created that are going to reverse it. They're going to go experience first, whether it's some kind of sporting event that's super interactive and super engaging or whatever. And then they're going to partner or tie in a lodging piece to it at the end. So it's not going to be the main focus, but it'll be part of the actual in-person experience. So I think we're going to see a reversal on that. So those are my two predictions before we get into AI. So the anti-AI effect and the experience first hospitality brand movement. So any thoughts, comments, or questions?
I love it. I think the in-person thing, 100%, the more that we're behind a computer, the more that we seek the interactions with one another. And then on your second one, I love it as well. I don't love it as a 2026 one. I love it for the next decade. That's going to be
the long play.
That's a much longer developing cycle. I do agree with you.
Start this year, though. I think we will. Yeah, at least one or two brands. That's my measure for the end of the year when we recap. 1 to 2 brands are experience first.
All right, there we go. We made it measurable.
Yeah, there we go. And we got a great comment from Steve Schwab, who is the CEO and founder of Costco. And congrats to your 25-year anniversary, my friend. Any thoughts on the inbound international demand, or changes on the inbound international demand? Jamie, I figure you're going to be the best one to answer.
Yeah, and that was my prediction for 2025, that we were going to see a falling international inbound demand to the U.S. I do think it's going to recover a bit in 2026, but only because of the World Cup. So to Brandy's comment, unless you're in one of those markets that's going to see the influx, and there are going to be sort of spillover effects. Like, let's say someone's going to in Atlanta, you're going to see Atlanta people traveling outside the city. You're going to have people sort of string together different trips. It has blown my mind how many international travelers there are down here in the Keys. So people are going to make their 2026 trip maybe to the US, maybe go to one game and then travel to some other areas. So I do think there's going to be a lot of downstream positive effects from the World Cup. But I don't think, and outside of that, there's going to be any sort of change of sentiment towards the US. If anything, maybe, and the events of the past week and maybe amplify some of those negative sentiments.
What events could you be talking about, Jamie?
I will, and I have no data to back this up, but I would say 100% it's going to be slow until World Cup. But I do think drafting off of that for the rest of the year, if we look at H2 2025 to H2 2026, sans World Cup, I do feel like it's going to improve somewhat, even if it's just marginally, because people will come and realize that it's not as bad as whatever they're hearing in their home countries is. But that's anecdotally speaking. So we'll see, Jamie. We'll see.
We'll see what the data says this time next year.
Yep. Can't wait.
All right.
All right.
Are we ready for AI?
Yeah, Michael, take us.
So should I just leave or?
Yeah.
All right,
Michael, go ahead. Take us away since you're king of AI predictions this year.
So first one is between 5 and 10% of booking traffic is going to come from the LLMs by December. It's not on a year-long trend, but it will escalate into 5 to 10% of reservations. Jamie, I really hope you can track that. We can track that for our hotels, but we can't track it for the whole market. So we'd love for you to keep an eye on that one.
So those bookings would be coming through your direct channel, people finding your direct website through an LLM and booking directly with you.
Attributable through analytics. Yeah, correct.
We just need everyone that listens to send us their Google Analytics.
That'd be great. We can use AI to compile them and
there
spit
we
back
go.
results.
Absolutely.
And then secondly, AI will simultaneously concentrate power with the big guys, but also improve innovation with the smaller guys. And just simply vibe coding several games taught me how easy it is, if you have some ideas, to actually sit down for a few hours and spit something back. And it can get better and better and better if you spend a day, a month, a year building some of this stuff. So I think in the industry, some of the very niche point solutions might have some serious troubles this year with just a random person that's hacking together a system for their own property and realizing, wow, this is better than any of the things I've used before. That said, on the big side, the better and bigger data that you have, the better your systems can be with AI. So the big guys will continue to get bigger.
Yeah, Michael, I 100% agree. And it was actually my number 2 prediction was that it was going to be the year of AI point solutions, of exactly that point of like, I'm going to build a tool specifically to do that. And I'll take it one step further. I think one of these point solutions that's either just been created or be created in early 2026 will hit, let's say, 1 million in ARR by the end of the year. And it's something that you're building around a specific pain point you have. You can then launch that. You can find people that have that same pain point, and provide a solution for them as well. But I do agree with you too. All those other point solutions out there that maybe are not AI enabled, have not been sort of pushing the envelope of continue to innovate. It could be a really tough year for them, either if they're not getting acquired or not innovating on themselves.
Yeah, I 100% agree on that, especially with people or, software that has dabbled in it a little bit, like enough to have it like in their product offering, but not actually providing the service or the product that people really need. I think that this might weed out a lot of people. And because we can't go a predictions episode without saying it, probably some acquisitions.
Oh, 100%.
I couldn't say it. I refrain.
Yeah, I was gonna say with the new companies that Michael's talking about, I definitely think as the bigger companies get bigger and these guys start growing quickly, like Jamie said, I believe there's definitely going to be quite a handful of companies that will probably go from 0 to 1 very quickly in the year, in 0 to 1 million in revenue ARR. So as that happens, the bigger guys are just going to gobble them up. So we'll see a lot of small. I'm sure we'll see a lot of small acquisitions in terms of maybe not like a bunch of VC private equity backed companies, but definitely these small little scrappy upstarts.
It is so interesting though, of like good and having done the conference circuit this year, like private equity is all in, not just on the vacation rental manager side, but on the tech side. Like they are willing to invest. And it wasn't one of my official predictions, but like in terms of the platform era of STR tech, I think 2026 could be the year. Like if I had to guess, I'd say maybe 4 or 5 acquisitions or mergers above 100 million in terms of value. Like this could be, I think, a big year for announced sort of acquisitions and mergers.
For sure.
Well, we have a little bit of time. Do we want to do our third prediction?
Yeah, I was going to say that was actually my third prediction. It was going to be the year of tech/platform building. So with actual AI, that's getting better. But that was mine, to be quick and short. So there you go.
Well, mine is also quick, and I have no idea how we would be able to find this data. So this is Jamie's challenge for 2026. I think we're going to see a big correlation between the increased use of buy now, pay later and chargebacks. I don't know how we would get Airbnb's data for that, but the more that these people are spreading that out and the more that people are cash strapped, I think you're going to start to see a lot of chargebacks, and unfortunately, probably after they stay. That's a huge trend, and it's becoming more and more difficult to fight that stuff. So
we'll be able to see that through the credit card data. I'm sure the credit card companies will somehow have to report that. And
it's like how because you can see you're always expecting like a certain amount of chargeback fraud, but I think you're going to see a huge increase in like just regular people charging stuff back after they go on vacation.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised by that.
Not good. Doesn't help our numbers.
Nope.
What's your third prediction, Michael?
You very faintly touched on it in your non-AI prediction, but I think we're going to see a repricing of short-term rental home values in vacation rental markets. They've been boosted for a long time, but you're not making enough to cover the investment. So my prediction specifically is that we'll see a 10% drop in home value prices in destination markets for short-term rentals.
Yeah, it's definitely oh, sorry, go ahead, Jimmy.
I'd say we're already seeing that in a lot of them, like already way down in a lot of these.
Trackable?
Oh yeah.
Let's say way to hit your prediction right out the gate.
Wow, dang. Michael's already ahead. But I feel like there's been this tension between homeowners that are involved in your property management program and the managers because of these revenue expectations where they're just not in line with the reality of what people are spending. But then obviously people have a mortgage and expenses they need to cover. So yeah, I think for new people entering the market, they might be on a better path than the people that bought at the peak.
So my third one, and it's because we haven't mentioned this word enough, it's about Airbnb. But I think 2026 is the year that they go all in on hotels. They're going to do a global launch. They're going to launch an integrated loyalty program. Like it's going to be a big year, but I think ultimately, like it's not going to move the needle for them in 2026. And this is an investment advice, so I don't have any inside knowledge here, but I think they're going to, and what we've seen 4 and launches of experiences is going to take some time for them to get it right. but this is a year where we start to really see that sort of shift for them into the hotel space.
I was thinking about their loyalty program because I'm booking a trip to Mexico City for the spring. And I looked and I have had like over 50 or something crazy like trips. And there's nothing to show for that. Not one single dollar off.
Yeah, I agree on the hotel side. I thought we were going to get through the entire episode without mentioning Airbnb, but thanks, Jamie.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
29 minutes in, and you had to say it. I don't know about the loyalty side, but I do agree on the hotel side. They have to, and especially with all the stuff we've talked about in predictions, it's not going to be a gangbusters year in short-term rentals. So they have to have a bigger, better story.
I'll say, I don't think you can compete in hotels without a loyalty program.
Yeah. 100%. Couldn't agree more.
So if it doesn't come true.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, this is a good line of predictions, and I think this is going to be fun to revisit throughout the year. Obviously, we're not just going to hold on to these. I'm sure we're going to see stories and news around a lot of these trends and predictions that we're seeing. So I'm excited to continue through the next 12 months with you guys on this. But one of the fun comments, I was actually going to say this, but didn't want to be too doom and gloom. But Terry White brought in, unless Trump bails out the AI industry, in particular ChatGPT, this will be the year that the AI bubble crash happens. And I was actually going to say that, but I was like, that's a little too dark, because I was like, I also think they're too big. Like during the election, the term was like too big to fail. And I think the AI companies from what's the one, freaking NVIDIA to ChatGPT to all these guys, like they're honestly just too big. Like there's too much money already in that they're not going to let them fail. They're going to bail them out, and it's just going to be a complete shit show. But that's just me.
Way to end on a positive note.
Yeah.
I'll say that I'll take the contrarian stance. It's not a bubble yet. It'll be 2027, 2028 before the bubble takes a hit.
Well, there's Michael's fourth prediction.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens at the end of the year.
Yeah, 100%. And Oliver, thanks for tuning in as well, saying booking.com does a good job with loyalty discounts. So maybe the OTAs could play a role with the comment that Jamie made on the loyalty side. And we had some other comments, but we don't have enough time to get into them today. So tune in next week and make sure that you comment in early so we can get to your comments. And like always, check out our GMH hotel episode that will bring their first episode back this week as well on Wednesday, doing their predictions in the hotel travel sector, not just short-term rentals or technology OTAs like us. And definitely some more AI. Definitely some more, I'm sure. Without further ado, though, we'll see you guys again next week.